Going live. Here we go. I think we're all set. We'll go ahead and kick it off. This will be available on a replay if anyone misses the live session. Today, I wanted to take some time to talk a little bit about the why, the how, and the what behind Good People Finish First. For those of you who have been following this over the last couple of years, it's certainly been a journey, and it's taken us on some different twists and turns, but we're now at the point where we are looking for an opportunity to bring on additional members, grow the cause, and really see where things can go from here. And really, this cause, so starting with the why, it came about really from two different angles, from some personal things in my life, and then also some things that I saw as opportunities and some things that I experienced in my professional life. On the personal side, I'm guessing not a lot of people are interested in hearing about that. I'm happy to share. I've shared before, and there will be some YouTube videos. I'll talk a little bit about why I'm so passionate about this and what really drove me to this point. But really today I wanted to focus more on what we are doing as part of this Good People Finish First community. Again, the why, the how, and the what behind that. If you have questions or comments, if you look here on the bottom of the screen, we are taking those at Slido. So if you go to slido.com and enter in GPFF, you should be able to ask questions, give comments. And what's nice about that system is that you can do so with your name if you prefer to do it that way, or you can do it anonymously. And that's really going to be a big part of what we are doing with this community. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few moments. So let's go ahead and jump in here, talking about the why, the how, and the what behind this cause. Again, a lot of you have probably heard me ad nauseum talk about this concept of good advisors and good business owners, but this is really where I saw the opportunity. And really what I believe is that there's enough opportunity out there that there's a demand, and I think we can meet that demand. And really where that came from is just having conversations with advisors over the years. Really, it came down to generally one of three questions. John, what's that other advisor doing across the street? Why are they so successful? Or John, do you know a junior advisor who can join my practice? Or the third one is, do you know a book of business for sale? It really, almost every single conversation came down to one of those three things. And I tried to do this and had been doing this to some extent, but again, we really want to kind of take this to another level. Why are you asking me? At the end of the day, isn't it best to engage and interact directly, peer to peer? And we've heard that so many times about the value of true peer to peer engagement. Cut out the middleman. Let's try to create an environment where people can come together, collaborate with one another, and share ideas, and everybody gets better together. Where that becomes very relevant in the financial planning, financial advisor world is if you think about it in terms of a vacuum. On one end of the spectrum, you have a good advisor who is focused on taking care of the client at all costs. The other end of the spectrum, you have a good business focused on the bottom line. We all know this. In order to be successful over the long term, you truly have to be both. You have to be both a good advisor and a good business owner. And there's really a number of different systems and things out there that have tried to help advisors find this happy medium. But my experience and what I've seen and where I think there's a big opportunity is that what ends up happening when you sign up for a particular coaching service or you affiliate with a particular business model, and you might be promised all of these resources, all of this help, all of these tools, and you end up finding that you're still living out on an island and you're doing everything yourself. Or the flip side of that is you end up finding that you're getting all these great resources, tools, and so forth, but it becomes so much that you end up looking just like everyone else, and you've given away all of your autonomy. So really, it feels like there's just been this shift where it goes one way or the other. There's really not anything in my opinion that truly fits that middle ground. And that's really what we're going to try to do with this cause as we move forward, is try to the help good advisors become better business owners through open and transparent collaboration. Find that middle ground, cut out the middleman, and really try to have advisors engage directly with one another. And I guess I should say, I keep saying advisors, people, and there has been some confusion around that because we did change the title. When this first came about, at first it was good guys finish first, and then we're like, we can't do that. It'd be good people finish first. Then it became good advisors finish first, and the ultimate destination was always going to be good people finish first. But it ended up transforming, becoming good advisors finish first. So the way that that's going to work is we have this big broad blanket, this big broad umbrella, good people finish first. That broad umbrella will form what we're calling peer pods, and those peer pods will be made up of peers. And right now there's only one peer pod, and that's the GAF pod, the Good Advisors Finish First peer pod. So that's kind of where that good people finish first is, this broad umbrella. Everyone's invited. And really what we want to do up until now, all of the engagement has been advisor to advisor. We haven't brought in third party guests. We haven't brought in outside content experts, but we want to, because there's a lot of great information, great tools and resources out there. And so we want to have people participate in this community at this broad good people finish first level. But at the same time, we want to be protective of advisors who may only feel comfortable engaging with one another and may want to leave some things out of conversations they would have in a broader environment. And so there's an application process to come into these peer pods. And again, the only one right now is the GAF pod, the Good Advisors Finish First pod. And what we're looking to do is continue finding advisors who are motivated to elevate their profession. So advisors that truly care about what they're doing, want to see the industry get better, want to see their peers get better, and want to become better themselves. And in some cases, these are advisors who are really motivated to do nothing other than just to give back. They've been successful over their career, and now they're at that place where they want to give back and share what they've learned, their experience, the pitfalls that they've experienced throughout their career. And that's the big motivator. And then you have on the other end of the spectrum advisors who are hungry, growing, looking for that information. And really we're trying to build that community from both sides, the more senior experienced and some of the newer up and coming advisors that will hopefully transform this industry as we move forward. And if we extend this, what are we actually doing? Or let's talk a little bit about the how are we implementing this. Is when you come into this group, this Good People Finish First, fill out an application to join the peer pod. The intention is to ultimately get to mentor-mentee relationships, one-on-one with other peers inside of that peer pod. And we're going to do that. We're going to get to that level by creating an environment with more and more of these mastermind study groups. We already have one spin-off study group that is running completely autonomous from the community. It's full. It's at capacity now, which is a great problem to have. There's people that want in, and there's demand, and we're just going to create more. We're going to create as many of these study groups as there is demand for, but we need people to step up and help in order to do so. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we continue on. And then what makes this thing different? There's a lot of different things out there that, again, are trying to split that difference between, being a good advisor, a good professional, a good independent business owner, and then, truly running a good business. There's a lot of tools, resources, things out there that try to split the difference. And in my personal opinion, in my experience, what I've seen is that all these things that are out there, most of them that are out there, they come with a bias, they come with a hidden agenda, or there's ulterior motives. And really the intention behind what we're trying to do is to eliminate all of those. Going through June 30th, 100% of the revenue that we will receive will come from member contributions. We're committed to sticking that out. Hopefully it continues well beyond that, and we can continue on as far as the eye can see, running exclusively off of member contributions. Because once you start taking money from outside resources, it may start biasing the content. It may start biasing your opinions, and there may be some ulterior motives. And if you think about other things that are out there, there are groups, communities that are run by advisors or by firms that are looking to create a community environment. But oftentimes they will have a hidden agenda or these ulterior motives. If 80% of my revenue, 90% of my revenue is coming from running my own individual practice, and on the side, and trying to do the right thing, building a community of other advisors and doing these things, what's to stop me or prevent me from just poaching all the best content and implementing it myself? And I think there are some really good coaching programs. I certainly don't want to throw stones at those, but what we're trying to do is something different. We're going to eliminate a lot of that, the opportunity for that bias, that hidden agenda, those ulterior motives, and hopefully feed in to those coaching programs that are out there. Because as I mentioned, these study groups, these mastermind study groups will run autonomous from the broad community. So advisors who are offering coaching services, maybe other firms that are offering mentorship or offering a collaborative environment. We want those entities, those individuals to participate in our community, find their tribe, find the right people that they can best service, and they can take those people off platform or off of the community to run those different services. But those are some of the things that we feel make this thing different from what else is out there. Then we talk a little bit about how else is this different, and part of this is the rules that we're going to put in place. There are no expectations for any member to participate. We are doing a lot. We're doing a lot of meetings. We're doing a lot of collaboration. We're doing a lot of events, and we strongly encourage members to participate as much as they feel comfortable in all of those things. But there are no requirements. There are no expectations. It's not, hey, come with a great sales idea in order to get one. It's truly everyone's invited. Come in, share ideas, collaborate, learn from your peers, and everybody will ultimately get better together. And the second thing is there's a number of people already that are joining the community who either can't or are hesitant to publicly air the fact that they're part of the community. Again, we try to encourage, or we want to encourage members to celebrate the fact that they are part of this growing community, part of this cause, and we actually have some members who are already doing so. But then on the flip side, we have some members who, again, either can't or aren't interested in basically putting a big banner on their chest. And so we really want to provide that opportunity, not just for members to participate however they choose, not asking anyone to have these minimum requirements or expectations, but also allowing people to communicate in anonymity. So kind of whatever happens inside of the community stays within the community without prior authorization. So again, we want to encourage members to share as much as they feel comfortable, but anytime somebody might be tagging another member or doing something like that, or sharing content, I got this great idea from this other person. And again, we want to encourage those things, but we do want those things to be, or a rule is those things will be authorized before we allow them, because again, that other member may not want that information to be shared publicly. And then the third thing, the third rule that I think truly differentiates this is we're going to have a very hard rule on no proactive solicitation. Again, up until now, all of the collaboration, all of the meetings, all of the things that we have done have been exclusively peer-to-peer, advisor to advisor. As we start bringing in third parties and different content, we want to provide the opportunity for them to share that great content, provide the opportunity for advisors to engage and learn from that great content, but no proactive solicitation. We're not going to be selling out members and handing over email addresses, phone numbers, and so forth. And this is going to be a very hard rule. And this is in the case of members to members, as well as these third-party guests. We're not going to allow a second strike. So if somebody does step over the line and does solicit another member, we're going to remove them from the group. And mercy over justice is one of our principles. They can reapply, but not for a year. We're going to be very strict on this one because it is something that I believe does truly differentiate what we're trying to do. So what is it that we're trying to do? Well, it's not coaching, it's not consulting, it's not advice. There's a lot of that. There's everybody and their brother is doing those things right now. That's not the intention. That's not what we're trying to do. Again, we have members who are participating that offer these services, and our goal is to align them with other members who would benefit from those services. Again, no proactive solicitation, but the community itself, what we're running, there is no direct coaching, there is no consulting, there is no advice. And that's something that I've run into after having some conversations over the last couple of weeks with some people that I've been working with. Is they're like, those things are a dime a dozen. You know, there's so many different coaching programs out there, and I agree. And part of what I hope we can provide is curated content and sharing the best of those coaching programs, while again not delivering it ourselves. So again, at this high level, good people finish first. Everyone is invited to join. From there, we have these peer pods. Right now, only one, the Good Advisors Finish First peer pod. It's an application process to join that peer pod. And then, as I mentioned, anyone who steps over the line can reapply in a year to get back into the community. So on a day in, day out basis, what does this actually look like? What are we doing? We are using a separate entity, a separate system for our community collaboration. So it's not connected to any social media program. And the way that it's going to work is we're going to run, or we are running off of a monthly theme. And that monthly theme gives us a topic each week that sets up conversations for that week's standard meetings that we're having each week. So on a monthly basis, we'll be doing an open house, and that open house is open to the public. We're not going to say that we have all the best ideas and can't learn from everyone else, and we're hoping to continue to grow membership. So on a monthly basis, we'll have an open house that will essentially be our standard Hear from a Peer meeting, but that will be open to non-members as well. And then we'll be doing office hours starting this Friday. I'll be doing an office hours on Fridays that will be a live simulcast like this one on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Maybe we'll have to shift that to another service at some point, but for now, that's how we're going to do this. And basically, the intention behind that is just to do a quick recap of some of the big takeaways, some of the good things that happened throughout the week, and really that week starts on Monday. So again, a monthly theme is sets up the content for the weekly topic, and then that weekly topic is introduced in a desk side chat where we will bring in a third-party guest to introduce the topic for the week. Members can view that live, that desk side chat, if they choose, or they could engage with that third-party guest through our backstage pass. So we bring in a third-party guest, great ideas, the advisors have questions or the members have questions, want to ask that person, backstage pass, they can do so. But there are a number of members, as I mentioned earlier, that still want to live in anonymity. And so the recording of that desk side chat will be available to all members to watch at their leisure. So anyone who wants to engage can do so. Anyone who wants to keep things a little bit more private can do so later on, or watch those videos later on. On Wednesday, we'll be doing our Hear from a Peer meetings, 11 o'clock Central Time, that will be specific to that topic of the week. Some of the things that are a little bit different than what we've done in the past, sometimes our meetings for 20, 30 people, we're going to cap the meetings going forward at 10 per room. So we'll start creating breakout rooms as we need to from the Hear from a Peer meetings. So 10 people per room will be the cap. We're also, as I mentioned, trying to spawn off or spin off more and more of these mastermind study groups. We have one currently running on Thursdays, And that one, as I mentioned, is currently closed to new participants, but every member is certainly encouraged to fill out an application, be put on the wait list. And as we have more and more of those applications, as we have more and more interest, we'll be opening up more and more of these mastermind study groups. If you go to the website, on the website, you'll see this particular screen. I actually just screenshotted it from the website. Underneath, there's a public calendar. You can click on that calendar. It'll show all the events. We'll be updating that with the content, with the guests. So you'll be able to see, even if you're not part of the community, you'll be able to see all the things that we're doing. Certainly community members will be able to participate in a lot of these things as well. And then the final thing that we'll be doing is a community pulse. This group, this community is truly for the benefit of the members. And I don't want to steer this thing all by myself. I don't believe I can. And so it's going to be absolutely critical that we have a core group of founding members that can meet on a quarterly basis to help make sure that this thing continues to run in the best direction, in the true benefit of the members. How this is looking right now, going forward, our monthly theme for the month of February is working on the business. And then, as you can see on the screen, we have a weekly topic that is aligned with that monthly theme. Next month will be legacy planning for your business. This is something that is extremely important. I have a lot of opinions and thoughts on this particular topic, and a lot of these we can just keep going back to because they become such important topics. And again, that goes back to those mastermind study groups. Those are run autonomously. So somebody wants to set one of those up on a bi-weekly basis, on a monthly basis, weekly, whatever it is, and wants to keep it static on a particular topic, great. I think there's an opportunity. Some of these topics are things that are evergreen, and we need to keep going back and back and sharing ideas. And it's so important for advisors to talk about the things that they may have encountered because other advisors can learn from them. Just recently, I've heard of a couple of circumstances where advisors didn't necessarily have the full story from their affiliation. I've heard from some advisors who actually are taking a little bit of the onus on their shoulders to make a more proactive step toward a succession plan rather than waiting for it to happen. And that's one of my personal big concerns is working with advisors over the years is I see some of these more senior advisors who are doing a great job in taking care of their clients, but are getting to that point where they're going to need to make a decision at some point. And just like buying stocks, right? Buy low, sell high. You don't want to be forced to make that succession plan, that succession decision. You want to set that up ahead of time. And there's so many different ways to do so. There's so many different resources. And again, we're going to be bringing in third-party guests, third-party resources to help. And really all of that is being done at the direction of the members. So hopefully this is of some interest to some of you who are watching this either live or on replay. If it is, go to www.goodpeoplefinishfirst.com or goodadvisorsfinishfirst.com. They both go to the same direction, the same website. We'll take any feedback that anyone has on the website, as this is still a very much a building process. But if you are interested in signing up and becoming part of this community, if you go on any of the pages on the website, you'll see a big gold button at the bottom or near the bottom that says join the cause. Click on that button and that will take you to our onboarding page. And if you look at the top of this onboarding page, I know this is a lot of text. This is on the website if you want to check it out later. But on the top, there's a couple of things that I want to point out. Right now, through March 31st, the membership dues are strictly goodwill donation. And I've had a lot of people ask how much, what's a reasonable contribution. Happy to have those conversations, one-off or talk, or maybe we will put out a suggested amount or an average amount. I will say that going in, I had a certain expectation, and so far it's pretty much hitting right on the head of where I expected the average, where I expected the membership fees to come out. Now, there are a few things that we're going to want to work through as we go forward. As I mentioned earlier, we are looking to bring in more senior advisors, more junior advisors. Some of those more junior advisors just may not have the disposable capital to participate in a more exclusive community, which we want this to continue to be, is an exclusive community. But we want them to be part of this. And so there's been some ideas shared. Do we do scholarships? Do we do a discount for advisors of a certain tenure? Do we create different tiers? So all those things have yet to be determined. And because they have yet to be determined through March 31st, everyone is required to submit some goodwill donation. And that gets you entrance into the Good People Finish First community. Upon receiving that donation, you'll get a welcome packet, and part of that will be an application to join the Good Advisors Finish First Peer Pod. And I mentioned earlier as well that through June 30th, I personally am committed to running exclusively off of member contributions through June 30th. I've actually set aside enough money for the next couple of years, so this is all I want to do. Those of you who know me know how passionate I am about this, and I really want to push this truly for the benefit of the members. And I'm hoping we can extend well beyond June 30th, where we are strictly running on revenue from our members. But I'm also realistic, and I know how the world works. That may not, necessarily be a sustainable model. We may need to look at some additional options as we get into second quarter, and certainly on June 30th, we'll have a meeting with the founding members, the quarterly pulse meeting, and we'll go through any offers, any partnerships, sponsorships, things that are out there, and see if there's anything that might make sense. I'm having a lot of conversations, as you might imagine, currently, and there's some that actually have gone to the point of almost a formal offer of partnership. And so we certainly encourage that. We want to look at all options, but at the same time, we want to be very strategic and thoughtful about how we do those alignments in order to make sure that they're done for the benefit of the members. And below that, below those two highlighted lines that I just talked about, you'll see click here to submit a goodwill donation. Click on that. That'll take you to a PayPal page where you can put in your donation amount. You can put it in as a one-time or put it in as recurring. Again, this will be good through March 31st. So everyone who puts in a donation all the way up until then will be part of the community. On March 31st, we may set pricing, we may not. It really is just going to kind of depend on what we see over the next couple months. What we see in terms of people who are contributing, certainly their capital is going to be important to make this thing work. But I'm also going to be asking a lot of the people who have told me that they're willing to help and really supportive of this cause. I'm going to be asking for that help and support. We're going to need a lot of elbow grease in addition to the capital. And the good news is there's so many people who've offered to contribute and help that I truly believe it's going to be light work. Many hands make light work. We have a lot of people that are willing to help, and to the extent that I think we're going to be okay to just really leverage everyone when we do breakout rooms, just as one example. It might end up being an obligation of once a quarter or something like that. You have to run a breakout room or things like that, just to help make sure that this thing works. Again, a lot of this is going to be hashed out over the next couple months, and I'm sure there's going to be twists and turns and changes as we go forward. So that is the end of my formal presentation. And as I mentioned, on the bottom of the screen there, you can see we are taking questions and comments at slido.com. Just enter code GPFF at slido.com. And let's see if we have any interactions on this. Checking it out. Let's see. Can you give a range of donations that you feel are appropriate? Yeah, that's one that, thank you, Corey. I'm proud of you. Great job. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate that a lot. So, donations, expected and appropriate. It's It really, comes in as, again, we want to leave this up to each individual member, open to having conversations with people on a one-to-one basis. But there's people that can contribute and participate, very actively in the community, and if they're able to do that, that may help to offset, some of the costs long term as we set the pricing. Some people may be a little bit more passive in their approach, and maybe this just isn't the right time for them to participate. So, they're going to adjust how much they contribute, in the interim. So again, it's really up to each individual member. I'm happy to have conversations. I mean, I guess I can give you a general range going in. The expectation was we'd probably see our average member fees somewhere between $100 to $250 a month, and actually I'll just say, and we're right now falling right around the 150 range based on the initial contributions, the initial members that have signed up since we started allowing new members to do so. It's probably going to be somewhere in that range. But again, we may be setting up different tiers. We may be setting up some different ways to accommodate the capital that we need. Plus, as I mentioned, the additional legwork and assistance we need to help us with facilitating all the things that we are putting on. And no additional questions yet. So maybe I'm just talking to myself at this point. There's a recording, so we'll be posting it. Let's see, there's comments over here. Replay available. It's being recorded. Okay. It's got a few comments through StreamYard. Yeah. Let's check it out here. I hate just talking myself. I like to have interactions and engagement. You see, I'm trying to pull this up. Let's see if there's any comments. Checking it out. Again, any comments, questions, what have you, please go to slido.com, enter GPFF. Oh, is the first open house meeting scheduled for next week, first monthly date, time, location. So actually, I did miss something. If you go back to, let me go back a couple slides here. I missed our new event because we hadn't been doing these before. We haven't been doing in person. Everything that we had been doing up until now has been virtual. There will be a monthly meet with a peer, and that will actually be an in-person event. That will be separate and distinct from the open house and also our just traditional virtual hear from a peer. So meet from a peer, the way that will work is we are going to do a rotation between different advisor offices. So there's some advisors who have stepped up and have offered to host other advisors in their communities to come in, and we're going to be doing this over a lunch hour for advisors to share, collaborate in person, which I do think has been a missing element for a lot of us over the last couple of years. So that it's going to be important for us to incorporate that in-person feel, but we still will be running a lot of these virtually. So meet with a peer is on Thursdays, and that will happen on a monthly basis. Again, I failed to mention that earlier. And then the open house, first Wednesday of every month will be the open house. So this is our open house for this month. So the week of January 31st, so February 2nd here is the why, how, and what behind the cause. So that's our open house essentially. And then the next one, if you look, I have them in green on the schedule. So March 7th will be the next open house, and those will be done virtually. The format for those, as of right now, subject to change potentially, probably not for the next couple, but we'll be doing those in Zoom. So those will be a virtual Zoom. It will require registration, so open to the public, members and non-members, but there will be a registration requirement through Zoom in order to participate in those meetings. All right, let's see what else we got. Some kudos, which is good. I was wondering if I was going to get any hate. Looking for that too. You never know. I have had some naysayers here over the last couple weeks, which actually I've found a great appreciation for. I actually did a post on this a week ago. I didn't necessarily have a chip on my shoulder, but now I do. There's been a lot of people who have said a lot of things over the last couple of years, and this cause, what we're doing is about taking action. No more talk. And people are starting to show who they are, and it's not always to say that people are trying to pull the rug out from under what we're doing. People are busy. There's a lot going on, so we may have some people that come in and out of what we're doing, and that's fine too. We're really looking to, again, the premise behind this is to influence much more than just the community itself. Good people finish first. Demonstrating good people finish first. No one who is affiliated or part of our community, we're not trying to say anyone is a good person or anyone else out there is a good person. What we're doing is really trying to hone in on actions that would be generally representative of a good person. It's not just going to be the people who are participating in what we're doing. We want to absolutely encourage that outside as much as possible, as wide as we can cast that net, in order to make sure that we continue to advance this cause and move toward demonstrating that good people finish first. Let's see. What is the first monthly open house topic again? So the first one, yeah, so multi-generation structure. And if you think of, and so I don't know if that's clear, but one of the meetings that we did that was a really popular meeting recently was on creating different generations in a financial advisor practice. And this is something that is extremely relevant to a lot of advisors. As I mentioned earlier, you have some of these advisors who are taking the bull by the horns and really controlling the direction for their business, controlling what succession looks like, what sunset looks like for the business. And then you have some other advisors who are just keep punting and punting and punting until next year. And so multi-generation, we have a couple of guests who will be in to share some of the ideas and strategies that they've implemented in their practices. And that'll be introduced again in the desk side chat for the week. And then throughout the week, we'll be having open conversations inside the community around that topic. And then the Hear from a Peer meeting on Wednesday, we'll get into that topic a little bit more specifically and encourage as many members as possible to share their thoughts on that particular subject. And then on down the line as we get into other topics. And let's see if we got anything else. Membership fee is per year, not lifetime. So this is all, as I mentioned, a work in progress as far as determining where fees are going to fall and how our membership dues, whatever you want to call it, how that's going to work over time. So right now, again, goodwill donation, whatever amount, is good through March 31st. We've had a few people do reoccurring, which is great, which is definitely encouraged. But if it's just a one-time, I've had some people say X amount, like somebody said $500. I'm going to do $250 a month, and just did $500 all at once, and that covers the next couple months. I actually did have somebody do $1,000, and that'll cover more than the next couple months. We had a side conversation on that. So whatever you put in, it will cover wherever the pricing falls, for whatever period of time. But we've also had some people, and I don't want to just, again, I want to make sure that this is open to all. Everyone is invited. We've had some people contributing $25. In that's not a bad. These are up and coming advisors, people who are just starting out, who can benefit immensely from this community, who can help and support the community and make it a better place. So we want to encourage people, again, on all ends of the spectrum to join and participate, but specifically for now, whatever contribution amount is for sure going to be good through March 31st. So whatever you put in will be good through March 31st. If it's more, like I said, somebody last night did $1,000. If it's more, then that's going to carry forward for whatever a number of months would be. However you do the math, wherever we come out on our monthly pricing going forward. Let's see what else we got. Still look. 11:39 might be good to go. I'm just checking. I don't know. This is one of the examples of where I need help at some point, is tech support and so forth. And again, a lot of people have stepped up and offered, and we'll try to create a rotation on that front as well. I think that might be good enough for now. I don't see anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and just wrap it up here. If you look at, let me get back to, where am I? Okay. So if you look at what we are trying to do, and kind of where we're trying to go with this thing, go to the website, www.goodpeoplefinishfirst.com. Again, we'll take any feedback, thoughts, comments. Please let us know. You can sign up right through the website, join the cause, click on that button. But maybe you're not ready for whatever reason, you're too busy, or want to really kind of see or learn a little bit more about what we're doing. We do have 3 additional options for people who are just kind of want to kick the tires and learn a little bit more about this before they're ready to commit to becoming a member. First is to sign up for the mailing list, just like everyone else. Mailing list. We have we're going to be sending out a newsletter with information, updates on the cause, updates on our events, and just traditional mailing list stuff. And the second thing, if you're not ready to yet join, is you can attend these open house meetings. As I mentioned, we'll be doing those once a month. So sign up to attend those. If you click on the website, I believe I have this set up correctly. If I don't, please somebody let me know. But I believe I have it set up where it goes directly into the Zoom registration, so you can sign up for the next one, and for the next open house. And we'll publish those open house topics. So maybe you want to sign up for one a couple months from now. We should have those available. So then, I don't know that they're available yet, but as we do, those will be available, so you can sign up maybe 2 months from now, because you see a topic that really sparks your interest. And then the third thing that I'm going to lean on a little bit is, as I mentioned, a lot of people have offered to do a lot for us and to help, again, beyond simply contributing capital. And so the third option is to chat with an existing member. We're currently in the process, so this one's still building out right now, but building out a process where we'll have a rotation of members, current members, who will man the phones, so to speak, and we'll have a Calendly link specifically to talk to different members. And I'm not sure exactly how this is going to look. I have a couple thoughts on it. Right now, it's just a Calendly link, but what we might do at some point is have people's names. So those, again, members can live in complete anonymity if they choose. So this would be people who are willing to put their names out and click on a name. I want to talk to that person. They seem like they would have a good sense of whether this would be valuable for me. And I really want to provide that, because I don't have all the answers. I can't see things as much as I try to see things, and the intent is to see things through the member's eyes, through the advisor's eyes. At the end of the day, I'll never be able to do as good of a job as peers. And again, that's what this is all about, is peer-to-peer. And so we want to provide that opportunity for non-members to engage with current members, learn a little bit more, and then hopefully determine whether this is a fit or not. This is not going to be a fit for everyone. As I mentioned, everyone is invited, but seating is limited. And seating is not necessarily limited based on what we think. It's limited based on whether it's the right time and whether it's the right format for people that are looking for a community out there. So if you're interested in learning more, please once again go to the website, www.goodpeoplefinishfirst.com. And you can also send emails, call, ask questions, and I'm sure I will do some more of these types of events going forward. But for now, thank you all so much for joining. Have an awesome day.